Hey everybody, welcome back to the steel string guitar construction series. I'm Jared with Elise Guitars, and today we are going to go over bracing our top. We are building a Martin style OM or orchestra model, although our plans are just a little bit different than the traditional Martin bracing pattern. Before we get into specifics or details, I wanted to go over bracing a little bit just in general. You can approach bracing in a lot of different ways, and what I'm going to show you is just one of those ways. It's a culmination of things that I've been taught through formal schooling, informal training, clinics, seminars, things like that, and things that I've learned on my own through the years. And what I've found to be true and that works for me in the way I build guitars at this point in time. I've tried a lot of different ways, a lot of different methods over the years, and I've failed a lot of different ways over the years. Hopefully you can take what I'm showing you here and build a great guitar yourself, or just get a little bit of insight as to what goes into building a guitar in general, and specifically bracing and voicing the top. Now, when I talk about bracing a guitar top, I am simply talking about the size and the shape and the pattern of those braces, not necessarily how we are shaping them, carving them, or voicing them quite yet. Nowhere else in guitar making will you find as many opinions or as much voodoo and witchcraft and mysticism combined with scientific gadgetry and data as you will find when we talk about bracing and voicing the guitar top. Guitar top bracing has a very tough job. It has to be structurally supportive enough so that the guitar doesn't fall apart and so that it holds up well over time, but also it has to be loose enough so that that top can move and create vibration and move enough air to create the sound that we're looking for. In general, a narrower but taller brace is what we are looking for on the guitar top. There are a few exceptions and we'll get to those. Think of it like a floor joist or a ceiling joist, because that profile, that orientation is tall and narrow. If you turned those joists over on their side so that they were wide and short, although they have the same mass and the same grain, everything's the same, but because of that orientation, they're going to get floppy. They're going to move. They're just not going to be as supportive, and you're going to have failure in pretty short order. That same orientation is what we are going to be looking at on bracing for our guitar tops. They're going to be taller than they are wide, and when we get to shaping them and carving them and sanding them, that profile is going to allow us to voice them better than if they were wide and short. What we are shooting for in this video is not a particular note or a particular response like bass or mid or treble or anything very specific like that. What we are going to do in this video is more of finding the voice of the guitar and a little bit more of its essence, I guess, and not getting into the nitty-gritty science. That's not to say that you can't do that. There are certainly ways you can, and there are people who have devoted thousands of hours and thousands of dollars into that particular field of study. You can get into modulus tuning and using scientific instruments like oscilloscopes and getting very, very detailed about those specific notes and that particular frequency response in the guitar top. We're not going to do that here. that is the subject of almost a completely different field of study, related to guitars, of course. But that sort of science in detail is not what we're going to go over here. We are just going to get you to the point where you can build a good and hopefully great sounding guitar without getting into a lot of the physics and data collection on what your guitar top is going to sound like. Let's just go over some of the bracing basics. This video series of mine is based on the guitar plans from LMI for the model that is similar to the Martin OM or orchestra model. Now, Martin being such an old company with a vast history, has several different iterations of their bracing, specifically pre-war bracing and post-war bracing. Without getting into a lot of the specifics of historical bracing patterns from Martin, we don't need to do that. We're just going to focus on these plans. This is an X-brace based plan. So there's this large X, which provides the major structure for the lower bout, has a lap joint in the middle, and on mine, I only put the X's through the lining and the sides, here, 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 here. And on the upper transverse brace, which is this one, I put those through the sides as well. In general, the bracing on the guitar is going to be divided into two geographic locations: the upper bout and the lower bout. Now, in the lower bout, we have the X brace, which is, although it's two different bracing members, combined, it really is just one X brace. We have a lap joint here, and then there's going to be an extra piece across the top to really make sure that that X doesn't move and that that is as structurally stable as we can get. We also have the lower tone bars. We have the finger braces, two here and two here. And then we have the bridge plate. And after that, we start getting into the upper bout and the sound hole bracing. On the upper bout, we have sound hole bracing. There are three of those. Generally, they are thin and wide. There's the upper transverse brace, which on this particular set of plans, they call for a 13 by 13 millimeter brace. I make mine about 3 millimeters taller to make up for the fact that I put a hole through the middle of it to access the truss rod through here. And behind that is what is typically commonly referred to as the popsicle brace. It is flat, wide, and very thin. The upper bout tends not to move, and it is going to be very stiff, and that is because we want to support the fretboard that's going to come from the neck that attaches here, across the upper bout, and right up to the sound hole. And you can shape your fretboard kind of however you want to. Mine extends over the sound hole just slightly with a specific shape. You have the freedom to create whatever shape you want to there. The other thing is that on the upper bout, all of our bracing is glued up flat. So we have no radius up here to provide as flat and stable a platform for that fretboard as we possibly can. Now, the material that you should have gotten in your guitar kit would be 2 sticks of spruce. We are looking for as quarter sawn of material as we can get. And again, that quarter sawn is going to be, we're looking for that straight up and down grain. I have put on here, just drawn the line to follow this grain. We're looking for that nice vertical grain pattern. So when we're cutting these, make sure that you're cutting these in the right orientation and that we're not cutting them like this. If the 2 sticks of spruce that you have are radically different, maybe one is off quarter, I would use that one on the upper bout where things are going to be flat and a little thicker, and that quarter sawn isn't quite as important as it's going to be on the lower bout where things are going to move quite a bit more, and we want to avoid that run out and keep that vertical grain structure as much as we possibly can. Hopefully this gives you a good overview of the bracing journey that you're about to go on, so you have a better understanding of what we're looking for. Now it's time to measure and cut some braces, so we'll see you in the next video.